Good morning, class. Myself, Mrs. Monica Pare. Welcome to science class. In the last section of this science, we are dealing with the chapter number 2, plant structure and animal. From that, we have completed first, second, and third question of it. I hope all of you has written that questions in your notebook. PDF of that exercise I have already sent into the WhatsApp group of 7th standard, as well as I have uploaded in the notes section of the Drushti app. Now we'll start with the fourth question. Now see what the question is. Explain the following image in your own word. Now see the figure. Look at the figure A and B. Now A, it is okay, but B you can observe such a seed or such a pattern we have observed somewhere. Where we have observed? In the page number 10, while learning the formation of root. In that I have told you some extra points, that is what is monocotyledons and dicotyledons. So by referring that you can also tell what is this images are. So on that basis we will write the information for it. Figure A is monocotyledous seed. It is grain of maize. Whereas the figure B is dicotyledonous seed. It is a bean seed. Okay, now why and on what basis we have told this is monocotyledous or this is a dicotyledous? Because this diagram is given a entire seed longitudinal section. Longitudinal section means we have given a middle part of it, middle picture of it is given in the both that. By seeing this we will get to know that in a figure B they have divided into two equal parts, hence that is dicotyledonous, and whereas A it is not, so hence it is the dicotyledonous. Okay, now second point we'll write as each figure show entire seed grain and the longitudinal section of the same. As we have discussed, longitudinal section is shown of this both. In figure A, the radicle and plumule. Now what's the radical plumule we already learned? Those part which will take the growth above the soil from the seed, it's called as plumule, and which part will be take the growth from the inside the soil to the inside the soil from the seed is called as radicle. Now in case A, the radicle and plumule is seen inside the covering surrounded by the starchy substance. Okay, and there is a single cotyledon. Whereas in a B, the radicle and plumule are seen on upper side of cotyledons, and they are two cotyledons. Hence this A figure will be monocotyledons and B will be of dicotyledons. A is of maize and B is the seed of beans. Next question we have, question number 5, as describe the function of various parts of plant. Now what are the parts of plant we have learned in this chapter? They are root, stem, leaves, flower and fruit. Now each of them, while teaching this lesson also I told you what's their function and which manner they are supporting the plant. Individually, each of them have separate functions which goes on simultaneously to provide the growth of the plant, that we will write in a detail. So describe the function of various parts. So we will first enlist the parts of plant and then we will move ahead. Parts are roots, stem, leaves, flower and fruit. Now we'll go with the roots first. Function of roots. So what will be the basic function of root? Anchoring and supporting the plants. As we have discussed, the plant's roots take the growth inside the soil and they penetrate deep into the soil to give a firm support to the plants so that they can withstand in the wind and rainy season and they will not uproot easily. So the basic function of the root is anchoring and supporting the plant. One more function of and the next function of the root will absorption of water and minerals. Absorption of water and minerals from the soil is the again function of roots, and providing it to the another parts by the stem that we will learn in the part of stem. Third function of root is some roots show some modification for performing additional functions. In modified root we have seen there is some modified roots which are performing the extra functions, modified functions, rather than just providing a water and minerals to it. So what's the example of that? Aerial root, what they are doing? Absorbs moisture from the air as they are inside the. In a case of banyan tree we have seen this example, they are having the aerial roots. So the work of them is to absorb the moisture from the air. They are also called as prop. Stilt root. Now the stilt root given additional support. In a case of maize, this example we have seen. For that, refer the page number 2. Image 2.4, page number 11. In case of that, we have seen the stilt root. So what's the function of stilt root? Additional support. They provide the additional support for the plants. Such a maize like plant, they are having two kinds of root. One is original, which are under the soil, and the stilt root are above the soil. Runner. Runner help in vegetative propagation. In a runner root, if we search on the internet, we will get to know if we attach any stalk of any plant and it goes on spreading on the entire area of it, these are called as runner roots, breathing roots. Now the work of breathing roots is the breathe for plants, and some underground roots store the food materials, etc. So this all is the function of root. Next part we have as function of stem. To hold all the branches of plants is the first function. To hold all the branches of plant. Now, while learning the stem, we have seen that leaves in some plant, leaves take growth from stem, or the petioles of the leaves are connected to the stem. Stem also contains the nodes and internode. Even the bird start taking growth from the stem. These all functions we have seen when learning. Now that all are rest on the stem. So the first function of stem is to hold all the branches of plants together. Second, to perform function of photosynthesis, as in a case of cactus. In case of cactus, there is absence of leaf. They do not contain the leaf. So the function of photosynthesis is done by the stem only. That's why they are green and fleshy. That also reason we have seen in the sky. Now all desert plants, most of their stems are doing the photosynthesis work, and they are fleshy and green in color. Third working or the function of stem is to transport water absorbed by the roots to the all the parts of plant, and to transfer the food prepared by the leaves to the various parts of plant. Now see, the food is created on the leaf by using the photosynthesis. That process is called as photosynthesis with the help of stomata. Stomata is a small opening on the leaf. By using that small opening, carbon dioxide, sunlight and water and chlorophyll By their chemical reaction, the food that is in the form of glucose is created on the leaf. Now, that leaf created food should be transferred to the all other parts of plant. And how they will pass it? Through the stem, because the stem is the part which gathers or forming them all together. So, and the water and minerals taking part means gathering the water and mineral is a part of root, work of root. So again the stem will do that work, that is. So these are the functions of stem. Modified stem perform the functions such as food storage, reproduction and support, etc. Next part we have as function of leaves. Now what's the function of leaves? To prepare the food for the plant. Then this process is called as photosynthesis. Production of food by performing photosynthesis is done by the leaves. Transpiration, that is giving out excess of water in the form of photodroplets. Now transpiration is also process done by the leaves. What's that transpiration process? Is giving out the excess of water. Now third function of leaves is modified leaves performs the additional functions such as reproduction, food storage and support, etc. This cannot be seen in the every plant, it's seen into the few plants only. It's the modified functions. Now next part we have as function of flower. Now the function of flower is reproduction. How that function is reproduction, that we have seen when we are learning the flower hibiscus. Pollination process I told you, with the help of gynoecium and androecium, they have took the part into the pollination. It's nothing but the reproduction of the nymph. Even in some plants, the fruits takes the growth from the flower. Sixth part is function of fruits. Now the function of fruit is the protection of seed, because the seed is inside the fruit of it, and storage of food materials is the function of fruit. Even we can consider as it contains the seed, it's also help into the reproduction of the another one. In exam, any two functions will be asked to you for the 2 marks. Any two parts function. Either it's depend, that is any two, or specifically it mention that write the function of root or write the function of stem in this manner for the 2 marks. For that you have to write the 4 points of it. Next question we have as certain properties are mentioned below. Find a leaf corresponding to each property and describe those plants. Whereas the leaves has given, and the description is given in a few, and you have to write about it, and you have to identify which plant will be having such a roots of into them. First we have leaves with smooth surface, leaves with rough surface, fleshy leaf and spiny leaf. First is fleshy leaves we will take. Now who are having the fleshy leaf? While learning we have seen the fleshy leaf is in the case of desert plants. Plant with the fleshy leaves are called as succulents. Means all that category whose leaves are fleshy, they belong to this group and are usually found in the area like desert, because they had to store their food. That's why in that manner they are green and fleshy, because they have stored the food for the long duration. Their leaves are green and fleshy because they store water in them, which can be used under the adverse condition. For example, a panacea. Opuntia is the category of the plants who look like a cactus only, but upside that a fruity like structure is there, in which again the water in the form of food it is stored. You can Google these names to see the images of it. Next we have as spine on leaf. Even the spine on leaf is on cactus as well. Many plants have spine on their leaves. So the purpose for this is it is a way of protection themselves from being eaten and destroyed by the animals. And for example, acacia and aloe vera are the example of it. One more characteristics you can write in this answer is that it's the modification of these plants. Their leaves are modified into the spines or the thorns. You can a needle-like structure. They are only the leaf of that plants. Leaf with rough surface is the next point. Asperifolia is the type of plant which have the rough leaves. You can Google this name to see the image of it. It belongs to the category of shrub. Shrub is the category of plant which heights are smaller as compared to the other trees. Next we have as leaf with smooth surface. Salix carolinea, or the commonly known as southern willow, is a part in which has the smooth leaves. The simple smooth edged narrow leaves are 2 to 4 meter long, green and above, blister underneath. You see these images for the better understanding. If possible, I will upload it later. Okay, understood these questions in which you have to write the characteristics and the name of that plants and for what purpose they are. Question number 7, we have find the plants of parts. It's like a game like structure is given. You have to make circles wherever you find the parts of plant. Now see the first one. In the left hand corner, ROOT, root. Next to that, bird, BUT, bird. CALYX, calyx. It's in the diagonal format you can see here. Calyx we have seen in the case of flower part. A bird conditions protected by the calyx. Stem, STEM, stem. Leaf in a diagonal format. Radical, radical is the part that grow under the soil. Flower, root, petals. No need to write it twice. Only once you draw such a block and with the help of pencil you draw such a structure. So here our chapter number 2 exercise get completed. All of you have to write this exercise in your notebook point wise. Your science notebook should be neat and clean, and just leave 2 pages in the beginning of your notebook to write the index of it, where we are going to sign when it will be get checked. Whenever you get instruction from the school to submit the notebook, that time only you have to come. Here we have completed our chapter number 2. In coming section we will start with our new chapter. Thank you.